Rajeshwari MG. She pursued her BE in Electrical and Electronics at the People's Education Society College of Engineering, Mandya. She pursued her MTech in VLSI Design and Embedded Systems at the Sri Jagadguru Balagangadharanta Institute of Technology, Bangalore. Her personal skills lie in good verbal and written communication skills. Her areas of interest lie in OOPS with C++, renewable energy sources, HVDC transmission, digital relays, automotive electronics, advances in VLSI design. She has also had papers presented at the national level, such as the Innovative Architecture for SoC Multi-Core Hybrid Processor, presented at the RNSIT, Bangalore.
Welcome to UGC lecture series of BSc Physics Honours. Today we are dealing with the subject electromagnetic theory. In this session we are going to concentrate on a polarization of electromagnetic wave, and also in this session we are going to discuss purely about the production of PPL, that is plane polarized light. So, there are different ways to produce the PPL. The different ways for producing the PPL is reflection, refraction, selective absorption, also called as dichroism, and by scattering, and also we can produce a PPL with another method, this is double reflection. So, these are the 5 different types we can have to produce a PPL, that is plane polarized light. So, let us start with the very first thing, that is PPL by reflection. So, PPL by reflection will be having a same property that how we have studied, we know the deflection. So, when an unpolarized light is reflected from the surface of a transparent medium such as water, glass, etc., then the reflected light is partially polarized. So, the reflected light we can observe here, this is a incident and a natural light or unpolarized light which is incident on a surface which is having a transparent medium. We can say it as water or glass, if we consider that is this is the reflecting surface, this is the plane of incident, that where we are incidenting the unpolarized light. So, this is unpolarized light and this is the optic axis, we can say, or normal, and which is going to be incident on the surface with an angle of theta p. So, theta p will be the angle of incident here, and this will be going to have a reflected wave. So, we can get a partially polarized, say the reflected wave will be of partially polarized. So, the reflected light we here which we observed is having a partially polarized light, and also we can say that reflected wave from the reflected wave which is having a very weak and also it is partially polarized. So, the reflected wave that what we observed is one of a type of polarized wave, that is a plane polarized light, that what we get from a reflection type. So, this is a very simple method of getting a PPL with the help of normal type of reflection, and we on the surface like water or glass we will get a polarized light which is of a weak, and only the partial part will be of incident light will be polarized when we are going to produce a plane polarized with the help of with the method reflection. So, another law, that is Brewster's law, is applied for producing a PPL. He explained with the help of his law how the production of PPL can be made. So, the Brewster's states that the tangent of the polarization angle, the angle of polarization, that is theta b, is equal to the refractive index. So, consider mu as a refractive index which will be the tangent of polarization angle theta b will be equal to the refractive index of the refractive medium with respect to its surrounding medium. So, this is we can say that tan theta b is equal to mu according to Brewster's law. And also we also find that the reflected and the refracted rays are perpendicular to each other. So, from Brewster's law he also say the reflected ray, we can observe that this is the unpolarized incident ray which is incident at an angle of theta b. So, that is what the incident angle, that is polarized. After this we can observe which is theta b, again called as a polarized angle which is from a surface or from a medium of a refractive medium. This is a theta b, that is a tan theta b is equal to the refractive index, that is it is equal to refractive index mu of a medium. So, this is a medium where we can say it is having a refractive index of mu, and also we can observe from the unpolarized incident ray which is also having a refracted light, that is partially polarized refracted light, that is a bending of light we can be observed from the on the surface of a medium. So, this bending of light, that is a refracted light, is also perpendicular to the reflected light. So, these are two things that he says, and also says with the help of a medium we can from the reflection property of a wave we can also get the PPL. So, the whatever the reflected wave will be there on a surface, we will get a reflected wave as a PPL. So, this is one of the method that we can get a or we can produce a PPL. So, for understanding better we can consider another section of picture here, where we can say consider parallel and perpendicularity of a polarized light. So, the very first thing, the reflections coefficient of both waves which is having a parallel and perpendicular, that is unpolarized wave will be having both parallel and waves will be having both parallel and perpendicular, which is perpendicular to the plane and parallel to the plane. Waves will be of unpolarized which is incident on a surface, that is a medium where we can get a reflected wave back, that is here we can observe, which is having an angle that we consider, and also the refracted wave which is observed here. This is refracted wave and this is reflected wave which is at an angle of 90 degree we can say, and here we can also say that for the plane it is a perpendicular, the polarized light that we got from a reflected one which is a perpendicular to the plane, and also the refracted wave again it contains a perpendicular and parallel plane which is having a both type of wave to the plane. So, from the Brewster's also we said that how this angle will be, that is reflected intensity for a ray rays parallel and perpendicular to the plane of incidence will how it depends for a parallel and perpendicular. So, for a parallel the intensity will be as the degree of angle in incident of the Brewster angle increases, the intensity also increases, and also we can say that for a perpendicular the intensity will be more compared to the it will going to reach very early for a Brewster angle. For a lesser Brewster angle, perpendicular wave will be having more intensity than the parallel wave. Next, we are going to produce a refraction, that is production of PPL by refraction method. So, in an ordinary light, when an ordinary light is allowed to fall on a pile of plate on the polarizing angle, then the reflected part becomes completely polarized and the transmitted part is partially polarized, and this transmitted part again reflected and transmitted as this after passing through 15 to 20 plates. So, here what he considered is he are going to have a different plates, a pile of plates will be set together, and in between every plate the paper will be placed and the pile of plate will be made, and it is for that medium we are going to incident the incident light for the, so that from the Brewster angle or the previous method that whatever we got which is having a partially polarized light. So, from the refraction that is the while connecting the pile of plates we can able to get a 100% or more polarized light than what previously produced. So, that with the help of pile of papers as this will going to help us to increase the polarization, that is from weak polarized light it will here the intensity of polarization will be more compared to the previously studied methods. So, if an ordinary light is allowed to fall on a pile of plate on the polarizing angle, then the reflected part becomes completely polarized and the transmitted part is having again partially polarized, and this transmitted part will again reflected and transmitted again for this. So, here for a first case, when we are going to incident, there will be a reflected and transmitted will be there. So, that transmitted light is again fall on another plate which is adjacent to the next. So, this will going to increase the polarization effect. So, this will going to produce the high or weak or from a very weak polarized light to it makes the intensity of a polarization better than compared to other method. So, as this after passing through 15 to 20 plates, the reflected light becomes almost a PPL, that is a plain polarized light will be get. So, from without only a single plate, we can't able to get a plain polarized light, but with a pile of plate we can able to get a plain polarized light. So, this is arrangement how we made. So, that is the incident unpolarized light that it is falling on a first plate where we get a reflected and a refracted or transmitted light. So, that is again made to fall on other an adjacent pile of plate where we can observe we will get again a refracted and the transmitted light. So, that transmitted light is again fall on another plate. So, this continues through for a 15 to 20 plates, where at the end we are going to get a almost PPL, that is which is having a better or a high intensity PPL. And also after at the end of 15 to 20 plates, we are able to get a refracted polarized light. So, that what we got at end of 15th or if we can say the end plate will be of 20th, that end in light is called as refracted polarized light. We can observe in the figure that whatever the reflected will be there, which is a weak and unpolarized, which is not a PPL, but due to the pile of plates we are going to get the refractive polarized light, that is a transmitted light through this. After 20 plates we will get a refractive polarized light. So, the next method from which we are going to produce again the PPL, that is a selective absorption method, also called as dichroism. So, when we are going to consider a different method here, we are selectively observing a certain waves for getting a PPL. So, when an unpolarized light is incident on a dichroism crystal. So, the crystal that we are going to use for this type of selective absorption is tourmaline crystal. So, then for when incident light is fall on this type of crystal, it will going to split into two PPL light wave which have its vibrations perpendicular to the tourmaline's optic axis. We can observe here one will be perpendicular to the tourmaline optical axis. This is the optical axis. So, this is the incident natural light that is falling on a tourmaline crystals, where we can observe one vibrations will be formed that is perpendicular to the tourmaline's optic axis and is almost completely absorbed, and on the other hand another parallel, that is another wave will be produced, that is other if vibrations are parallel to the optic axis. One will be perpendicular, we can observe one will be the perpendicular for this axis for the incident light, and another one will be parallel to the axis. Inside this there is a parallel one will be there, that parallel also will be there, and one is perpendicular will be there. So, the first which is produced perpendicular to the tourmaline axis will be completely observed. Only the vibrations that produced parallel to the optic axis will be taken out, that will produce a perfect PPL or a plain polarized light. So, this phenomena of selective absorption used in a polarized very commonly as a polarizing in devices. We can observe this type of polarization, that is for getting a PPL in a better way, that is from the selective observation, where we are going to observe the vibrations that is perpendicular to the optic axis. So, for the optic axis perpendicular vibrations are observed, the vertically vibrations are partially absorbed vibrations that we can see here, and linearly polarized transmitted light which is there, that is what represent the PPL. So, next we move on to the Polaroid, which is must known because we are speaking about polarization, how the Polaroid will be works and what are the uses of it. So, the Polaroid, it is an optical device based on the principle of selective absorption, which will going to produce a PPL. So, commercially wherever we are speaking about Polaroid, the Polaroid is used to produce a PPL. So, for how the working of Polaroid will be there, it is looks like this. When we are going to incident unpolarized light for a Polaroid, if we consider two polarizer, and first one is a polarizer which is nearer to the source, which is nearer to the source is called polarization, which is nearer to the observer, it is called as analyzer. So, with these are the two optical devices that we here we are going to observe here. So, it will going to split into two PPL beams. Whenever we are going to incident on the Polaroid or polarizer, it will going to split the unnatural or natural or unpolarized light into two PPL beams, which has its vibration that is perpendicular to Polaroid's optic axis, that is completely absorbed, and another one is for detection of PPL we use another Polaroid, that is if both which is the parallel to the optics, that is when the unpolarized light beam is allowed to pass through a Polaroid, it splits into two PPL beams. So, two PPL beams will be having vibrations that is perpendicular and parallel. So, the perpendicular vibrations will be always completely observed, and whereas a parallel vibrations that will be used for analyzer, that vibrations will be considered as a PPL. So, we can observe the parallel vibrations that is produced here, where we can observe it is moving from the Polaroid and also analyzer here. Through the analyzer we are getting a PPL. So, here again the natural or unpolarized light, when we are incident on a polarization, where there we can observe that there is no, or we can say that which is having a vibrations that is parallel to the optic axis, there will be no light in between this, and also the light stops if the slits are crossed. When the slits of both Polaroids and analyzers are crossed to each other, which is not at all perpendicular or not at all parallel, or which is crossed to each other, we can say that there is no, from outside of the analyzer we won't get any light, there will be no light from the analyzer. So, now we are going to study how the uses of Polaroid will be. So, we know that how the working and what are the application of Polaroid. Now, we are going to use how the Polaroid will be used. So, in a sunglasses, the most widely used Polaroid is sunglasses. How it will be used, we can see the Polaroid are used in sunglasses to cut off the glare of light that is reflected from horizontal surfaces. So, we can say how the glasses will be cut down the glares of a sun rays. So, the sun rays will having a unpolarized light, and this will be directly, some of the lights will be directly incident on the sunglasses, and some of the reflected or light partially polarized in the horizontal plane by the reflection will be fall on the sunglasses, which is also which will going to reduce the glare greatly, because this reflected ray will after passing through the sunglasses having a glare greatly reduced than compared to directly unpolarized light incident on the sunglasses. So, glasses transmit only vertically polarized light. So, the vertically polarized light only the glasses will passes. That is why when using a sunglasses always reduce the glaze from the sun. And also some of the when unpolarized light that is fall directly on the sunglasses, the direct light not reduces as much that what we observed the reflected one. The reflected will have the glare that is greatly reduced, the directly incident on the sunglasses which is not having much reduction of a glare of a sun. So, next another method of production of PPL, that is a method used is scattering here. So, by scattering how we are going to produce a plain polarized light, let us see. The scattering of light of air molecules produces PPL in the plane perpendicular to the incident light. So, which will going to produce a PPL in the plane that is perpendicular to the incident light. So, in the air we know that the molecules will be there, due to the scattering between the molecules that is present in the air, we will also observe the PPL that is produced due to the scattering in the air. So, this is how it actually happens when this light, that is the scatter light that we can observe here. If in the air there are so many molecules will be there, due to the scattering we can observe different PPL are formed, that is scattered light will be of PPL is formed. So, here unpolarized light which is fall on molecules which is present in air. Due to the scattering effects, we can observe linearly polarized light in some different directions, where we can say it is 90 degrees. So, molecules behave like a dipole radiators and scatter no energy along the dipole axis. So, there is no energy will be passed along the axis, dipole axis, but it will going to help in producing a linearly polarized light in different direction. So, next another method that is we are going to use for producing a plane polarized light, that is by a double refraction. Also we can say it is by the birefringent property. So, the birefringent property is a property which is having for a optical material with having a refractive index. So, that refractive index is mainly dependent on polarization and propagation direction. So, this property is also helpful for producing PPL. So, we already discussed it about the refraction. So, when an ordinary light is allowed to pass through a calcite or quartz, it split into two refracted way, that is one is O ray and another one is E ray, that is O ray is ordinary ray and E ray is extraordinary ray. We can observe here when it is passed through calcite crystals, which is optic axis. When it crosses the optic axis, we can observe the extraordinary wave and O ray, that is ordinary wave. So, these are the two rays that is formed when it is passed through the incident ray is passed through the when the incident ray is passed through the calcite crystals and it is off the optic axis, we can observe two types of ray. So, we are going to differentiate between these two rays that is produced due to the double refractions. Due to the double refractions, we are going to get O ray and E ray. The differentiation between O ray and E ray are its vibrations are perpendicular to the calcite's optic axis. So, O ray will be always having a vibrations that is always perpendicular to the calcite optic axis, and also in E ray the vibrations are parallel to the calcite optics axis, and also the vibrations are in the plane of light incident in O ray. The vibration will be always in the plane of light incident. In E ray, the vibrations are perpendicular to the plane of light incident. So, it is perpendicular here, the vibrations are in the plane of light incident in O ray. And also in O ray, ordinary it always obeys the Snell's law, but extraordinary way it do not obeys the Snell's law. And also it travels in the crystals with the same speed in all directions, that is the velocity of ordinary ray will be always same, and here the E ray, that is extraordinary ray, which it travels in the crystals with the speed that will be having a different that is the directions will be different, and also the velocity in extraordinary ray it is different. So, next we are going to study about the Nicol prism. So, using the Nicol prism also we can able to produce a PPL. So, how we are going to produce PPL with the help of Nicol prism? So, it is based on a phenomenon of a double refraction only. So, what we studied double refraction on, based on that only the Nicol prism has produced. So, because to overcome certain disadvantages that are faced on a diffraction, so Nicol has come up with this special prism called as Nicol prism, which will be helpful for producing PPLs. So, it is having a same optic material is used, that is a calcite crystal is used, where we can see that there is a Canada plasma is made in diagonally material Canada plasma as used in a calcite crystal. So, this will going to certainly change some of the properties of E ray and O ray that is produced. So, when an unpolarized light is allowed to fall on a Nicol prism due to the double refraction, we know that off optics we will get it when it crosses off of the optic axis, it will going to produce two rays, that is E ray and O ray. So, these two rays of a ray will be of a weak when we are going to study about normal double refractions. So, we want to get a better a polarized light or a very strong polarized light. Due to this we have another diagonally material is used on the calcite crystal to overcome this problem, that is a Canada plasma is used. This will going to help in producing a E ray and O ray of very strong PPL. So, hence the Nicol prism is here it is designed in such a way that O ray is eliminated by total internal reflection. So, the O ray will completely eliminated from the total internal refraction. So, hence only E ray PPL is transmitted through the prism. So, due to the O ray is completely eliminated, so it cannot move out of the Nicol prism, it will be completely reflected by. So, only the E ray will be come out of the prism. So, we can able to get only one very strong PPL, that is using the canalablasm here. So, with the help of Nicol prisms, there is a special consideration will be made due to the refractive index will be there, that is calcite is also used with another material, that is canalablasm. So, there is a slight difference in refractive indices of the material. So, the reference index of calcite for O ray is, we know that is mu naught is equal to 1.65 is greater than E ray. So, if compared to E ray, the mu naught will be greater than for O ray. So, for E ray it is mu E is equal to 1.48, where mu 0 which is a refractive index, that is mu 0 is 1.65. Let us have a quick summary. In this session we discussed about different types methods that is used for polarization producing the plane polarized light. The very first method we used by the reflection, and also we studied about the Brewster's law, how the reflection with the help of the commonly used reflection method and also with the Brewster law, how we increase the strength of a reflected ray, that is producing a plane polarized ray. And also we come across another method, that is a refraction, where we can observe the PPL is formed. And also another method we used the selective absorption, where we are going to also called as dichroism, due to the absorption of certain beams or light produced, we can get a better PPL with the help of absorption, selective absorption. And another one is double refractions. And finally, we are going studied about the Nicol prism, where we are going to observe the E ray and O ray is formed before the canalablasm that is present on a calcite crystal. That due to the presence of canalablasm, we are going to eliminate the O ray, that is the total internal refraction will be eliminated from O ray, and only E ray will be come out of the Nicol prism. So, due to the slight difference that is used on a calcite crystal, we are going to get a better PPL with the help of Nicol prism. And some of the questions of this session are: which are the methods used for the production of PPL? Explain the production of PPL by Nicol prism, and what is double refraction? The references are www.livescience.com, and another one is Mission Science. The textbook references are Fundamentals of Electromagnetics by M.A.W. Maya, and another textbook is Classical Electrodynamics by J.D. Jackson. This ends the session. Thank you.